गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीमष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्बा त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकविवर्जितः। गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च। मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम्। गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता। भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। एकं शास्त्रं देवकीपुत्रगीतमेको देवो देवकीपुत्र एव। एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। मन्दारगन्धसंयुक्तं चारुहासं चतुर्भुजं बर्हि पिच्छावचूडाङ्गं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रुक्मिणीकेलिसंयुक्तं पीताम्बरसुशोभितम् अवाप्ततुलसीगन्धं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। उत्फुल्लपद्मपत्राक्षं नीलजीमूतसन्निभं यादवानां शिरोरत्नं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु ते। कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। अस्तु। So in the last class, we did the 42nd shloka. We completed the 42nd shloka. So this is about the 41st and the 42nd shloka. Tell us about what happens to a person who does the yoga abhyasa, but the prayatna, though there is shraddha, if the prayatna is not enough, and if the Atma has to leave the body before the prayatna is completed in the yoga abhyasa. So they have surpassed the karma marga and they have entered into the jnana marga and they are practicing the yoga abhyasam. But the prayatna is not enough. Not that there is a lopa in the prayatna, but they are doing prayatna with shraddha, but still it is not enough. And when they leave the body, what happens to that Atma? So unable to achieve the jnana margam or complete the jnana margam and attain moksha and unable to go back into the karma marga to again practice, they are, what will happen to such people is what Arjuna asks. And Krishna says, such people, their abhyasa will not go a waste. They will spend in the Devalokaha for many, many, many years or so much of time. And then when they come back, they will be born into families into very good families, into either very wealthy and good families or into families that practice the yoga abhyasa. Like if they have the vasanas of the bhoga, they will be born into the wealthy families. If they do not have that, if they have surpassed even such akanksha towards bhoga, then they will be born into families like that of Vyasa, so that they can continue their abhyasam wherever they left it off in the previous birth. So nothing will go waste. They will attain moksha, but it will take time. So they can pick it where they left it off. That is what we have to understand. So that is what is explained in shloka 41 and 42. So today we will be starting with shloka number 43. Alli Rani Bhagini, patitum ichchati va?
सामान्य तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकं यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन तत्र तत्र अव्ययं तं तत्शब्दस्य द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचनं बुद्धिसंयोगं बुद्धिसंयोग अकारान्त नपुंसकलिङ्ग प्रथमा द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचनं लभते लभ धातुः लट्लकार आत्मनेपदी प्रथमपुरुष एकवचनं पौर्वदेहिकं देहिकं पौर्वदेहिकं देहिन् शब्दः नकारान्त देहिन् शब्दः द्वितीयावृत्ति एकवचनं यतते लट्लकार यत् शब्दः आत्मनेपदी प्रथमपुरुष एकवचनं च अव्ययं ततो ततः
Also avyayam.
अव्ययं भूयः
Also avyayam.
अव्ययं संसिद्धौ संसिद्धिः इकारान्त स्त्रीलिङ्गशब्दः सप्तमी विभक्ति एकवचनं कुरुनन्दन संबोधन प्रथमाविभक्ति एकवचनं.
So here Paurva Dehikam, right? It is not Dehi. So it is not Dehin, it is Dehika. Paurva Dehika is the
Dehika. Akaranta.
Akaranta Shabdameva. So
Samyogam iti
is Pullinga only. We can take it.
Pullingam.
Pullinga prathama vyakti ekvachanam. Dvitiya vyakti ekvachanam. Dvitiya vyakti. Kurunandana, हे अर्जुन तत्र कुले पौर्वदेहिकं पूर्वशरीरसम्बन्धिनं तं बुद्धिसंयोगं मतिसम्बन्धं लभते प्राप्नोति ततः च तस्मात् संसिद्धौ योगसिद्धौ भूयः अधिकं यतते प्रयत्नं करोति। अन्वयः कुरुनन्दन तत्र तं पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते ततः च संसिद्धौ भूयः यतते। तात्पर्यं हे अर्जुन योऽयं योगभ्रष्टः श्रीमतां योगिनां वा कुले जातः पूर्वस्मिन् देहे या आसीत् तामेव आत्मविषयिकां बुद्धिं प्राप्नोति ततः सः मोक्षार्थं प्रयत्नं करोति। प्रश्नाः तत्र जन्मनि कीदृशं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते? तत्र जन्मनि पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते। तत्र जन्मनि पौर्वदेहिकं कं लभते? तत्र जन्मनि पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते। कुत्र योगभ्रष्टः पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते? तस्मिन् जन्मनि योगभ्रष्टः पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते। तत्र जन्मनि स योगभ्रष्टः किं करोति? तत्र जन्मनि सः योगभ्रष्टः भूयः संसिद्धये यतते। व्याकरणं सन्धिः ततो भूयः ततः भूयः विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेफः उकारः गुणः गुणसन्धिः। समासः कुरुनन्दन कुरूणां नन्दनः षष्ठीसत्पुरुषः तत्सम्बद्धौ। बुद्धिसंयोगं बुद्धेः संयोगः तं षष्ठीसत्पुरुषः। कृतन्तः संसिद्धौ सम् उपसर्गः सिद्ध धातुः तिन् प्रत्ययं श्री प्रत्ययं संसिद्धौ। तद्धितान्तः पौर्वदेहिकं पूर्वदेह ठक् भवः पूर्वदेहे भवः तम्।
अस्तु। सो अत्र क्रियापदं किम्?
लभते एतते।
लभते इति पदस्य कर्तृपदं किम् अस्ति वा? कर्तृपदं
तत्र तं पौर्वदेहिका पौर्वदेहिकं
पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते।
लभते तं लभते।
He will get. So it is not. So paurvadehikam labhate. Okay, tam paurvadehikam buddhisayam labhate. So such a kind of person will obtain it. What will he obtain? Or what kind is he? So samsiddhau tatah bhuyah samsiddhau yatate. So here तत्र तं पौर्वदेहिकं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते ततः च संसिद्धौ भूयः यतते. So after that, so once he will obtain whatever practices he has done in the previous life, the same buddhi sanyogam he will obtain in this janma also, wherever he has left it off, and from there again he will practice his he will continue his practice. Tatah bhuyah, from there onwards. Tatah here is from where he left it off. From there again samsiddhau yatate. Okay, so he will again continue his abhyasam.
किमपि न श्रूयते महोदय।
किं महोदय?
किमपि न श्रूयते।
न श्रूयते।
So here the kartrupadam is not there, but it is understood from the previous shloka.
No.
In the from where does this kartrupadam come? Not even in the previous shloka. We have to go back to
back. Yogi.
From the 40th shloka we have to take. Partha na eva iha nam na amutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit. That kalyanakrit is the kartrupadam. Okay, so from there, that Kalyanakrit, from there, it is being carried on. So that Kalyanakrit, his prayatnam will not be wasted. He will not attain any durgati, and he will obtain prapya punya kritan lokan. So he will obtain the punya lokan, and ushitva shashvatihi samaha, and he will stay there for many years as though it is like forever. And then he will be born. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashtaha Abhijayate. So this Kalyanakrit in this shloka is referred to as Yoga Bhrashtaha. So that Yoga Bhrashtaha Athava Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam. Etadhi Durlabhataram Loke Janma Yadidrisham. So that kind of Janma is very rare. Being born into Srimatam Gehe is also, is not easy. But being born in Dhimatam Gehe is Durlabhataram. So that Yoga Bhrashtaha, we can take the Kartrupadam as Yoga Bhrashtaha.
Yoga Bhrashtaha.
That kind of Yoga Bhrashtaha will obtain. What will he obtain? Whatever samskaras that he has from the previous birth, that will be obtained into this Paurva Dehikam. Means Purva Sharira Sambandhinam. Okay, Buddhi Sanyogam. Whatever Buddhi, whatever Abhyasa he had in the Purva Shariram, whatever that is, he will obtain that in this Janma. And then he will, from there onwards, he will again continue his practice. Okay? Astu. Anantaram Savitri Bhagini.
Namaste Mahoday. Shloka 44.
44.
Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jignasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Purvabhyasena tena eva hriyate hi avashaha api saha jignasuhu api yogasya shabda brahma ativartate. Purvabhyasena akaranta pullinga tritiya vibhakti ekavachana tena tritiya vibhakti ekavachanam eva avyayam hriyate hri dhatu karmani prayoge prathama purusha ekavachana.
Aha, latlakara prathama purusha ekavachana. Saptami
karmani prayogam nasti khalu.
Latlakara prathama purusha ekavachanam.
Okay. He avyaya avashaha prathama vibhakti ekavachanam api avyayam saha prathama vibhakti ekavachana dakaranta sarvanama jignasuhu ukaranta pullinga prathama vibhakti ekavachana api avyayam yogasya akaranta pullinga shashti vibhakti ekavachana shabda brahma shabda brahmati vartate. Brahma ati vartate. Brahma nakaranta pullinga
Napumsakalingam
napumsakameva va?
Napumsakam eva khalu.
Brahma ati vartate. Ati upasarga puraka vrit dhatu atmane padi prathama purusha ekavachana. Saha padartha saha tadrishaha purushaha avashaha api anadhino api tena purvabhyasena eva purva janma samskarenaiva hriyate akrishyate yogasya yogamargasya jignasuhu api ज्ञानेच्छुः अपि शब्दब्रह्म कर्मप्रतिपादक वेदभागम् अतिवर्तते हि अतिक्राम्यति खलु अन्वयः सः अवशः अपि तेन पूर्वाभ्यासेन एव क्रियते योगस्य जिज्ञासुः अपि शब्दब्रह्म अतिवर्तते हि तात्पर्यम् सः योगभ्रष्टः जन्मान्तरीयाभ्यासस्य वशात् विषयाणाम् अभिमुखोऽपि तस्मिन् जन्मनि योगम् एव अभिगच्छति योगस्य जिज्ञासुः अपि सः वेदोक्तकर्मफलम् अतिक्रम्य वर्तते कर्माधिकारम् उपेक्ष्य ज्ञानाधिकारे एव निष्ठां करोति इत्यर्थः माधवमत ध्यानयोगस्य जिज्ञासुरपि परं ब्रह्म प्राप्नोति किमु योगस्य अनुष्ठाता रामानुजीयं शब्दब्रह्म शब्दाभिलापयोग्यं ब्रह्म प्रकृतिः इति यावत् प्रश्नः अवशः सः केन ह्रियते अवशः सः पूर्वाभ्यासेन ह्रियते पूर्वाभ्यासेन कीदृशोऽपि सः ह्रियते पूर्वाभ्यासेन अवशः सः ह्रियते योगं जिज्ञासुः किमति वर्तते योगं जिज्ञासुः शब्दब्रह्म वर्तते सम्यक् वा
सम्यक् भगिनि
कं जिज्ञासुः शब्दब्रह्म अति वर्तते योगं जिज्ञासुः शब्दब्रह्म अति वर्तते व्याकरणं संधिः तेनैव तेन प्लस एव वृद्धिसन्धिः हेवशोऽपि हेवशः प्लस अपि विसर्गसन्धि सकारः रेफः उकारः गुणः पूर्वरूपञ्च ह्यवशः हि प्लस अवशः एण् सन्धिः जिज्ञासुरपि जिज्ञासुः प्लस अपि विसर्गसन्धिः रेफः शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते शब्दब्रह्म प्लस अति वर्तते सवर्णदीर्घसन्धिः समासः पूर्वाभ्यासेन पूर्वः अभ्यासः कर्मधारय समासः शब्दब्रह्म शब्दरूपं ब्रह्म मध्यमपदलोपि तत्पुरुषः कृदन्तः अवशः आ उपसर्गः वश् धातु अच् अच् जिज्ञासुः ज्ञा धातुः सन् इच्छायां प्लस उ कर्तरि प्रयोग
सन्नन्त
सन्नन्त सन्नन्त
सो अत्र क्रियापदं किम्
अत्र क्रियापदं ह्रियते
ह्रियते
अतिवर्तते
सो कः ह्रियते
अवशः
अवशः सः ह्रियते
सः अवशः सः
सो केन ह्रियते
पूर्वाभ्यासेन
पूर्वाभ्यासेन ह्रियते so hriyate here is taken as akrishyate so because of the purvabhyasam in this life he will be drawn towards it so why sometimes we find people who are born in a particular setting but they will have skills which are outside of their environment they are not even exposed to that environment right they have never heard sometimes we find children who are singing but in their family they don't have any background no exposure to singing or some people will become very good dancers they have no exposure to that it is so we identify that as a natural talent so that natural talent is nothing but purvabhyasam in the previous lives they must have done so much of abhyasam in that particular art form or whatever it is. In
Yes.
this life, though they have not been exposed to it, they pick it up out of nowhere. That is because
The
that
Purva Karma.
that akarshana is there. They are
Yes.
naturally drawn to it because of the purva samskaras that they have from their previous lives. Similarly, for this yoga abhyasam also, he who has done so much of yoga abhyasam and is not able to attain moksha because of the time constraints within that time, the body, the atma leaves the body, that prayatna is not complete. So they have left the body and the moksha is not attained, but the yoga abhyasa is there. Whatever yoga abhyasa is done, it will not be wasted. They will be born again into families where, from where they can again pick it up where they left it off.
Okay.
So because of that purva abhyasa, they are drawn towards again the same abhyasa. So they will continue. They will continue. They might have some hurdles because that environment may not be supporting. That also again depends on their purva janma sukritam.
Sukrita.
They
Yes.
have done all the right things, then they will be born into a family where their abhyasa will be supported. So that environment will be such that the parents and the family will support whatever they are doing. But if he has not, done enough samskaras, if he does not have enough supporting samskaras from his previous births, then what will happen? No matter how much prayatna he is trying to do to move forward, there are always so many obstacles. The family is not supporting, not intentionally, but they don't have that kind of
Facilities.
of understanding. So they
Yes.
don't look at it as something important because they themselves might not have the knowledge of about that kind of abhyasa. So they might feel that he is being acting something weirdly. Even we see, right, if somebody wants to take sannyasam or wants to do some kind of such abhyasam, parents will get worried, especially when the person is very young. Even
Yes.
at an older age also, if somebody wants to do that, they first fear the society, thinking that something is wrong. So they literally ask the person not to do that. But it is that is the kind of environment they will get sometimes where their abhyasa may not be supported, whereas in some cases they will be supported. Again, that also depends on our own deeds. What we have done in the past will only come in that form. If we have done everything right, then we will fall into an environment where our prayatna will be supported. If we have not done something enough, then we will fall into a place where our abhyasa will not be supported. Again, but still we have to continue whatever we are doing while we are also working with the environment, and then eventually we'll go. So such things will be there, but we have to continue. So
Yes.
here this shloka is saying that. And then योगस्य शब्दब्रह्म जिज्ञासुः जिज्ञासुः अपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्म अतिवर्तते. So जिज्ञासुः. So Shabda is what is given in the Vedas, basically. So all the practices that are given in the Vedas. So some people might still be practicing only what is given in the Vedas, but this kind of yoga abhyasa, yogi who has performed yoga abhyasa, he will surpass that. For him, again sitting and reading the Vedas and the scriptures and trying to understand all that is not necessary. He will directly, because he has already been in the yoga marga, to him this is not needed. We find some people who are talking without any kind of abhyasa. They have not done any abhyasa, but they know things. They keep telling all these things, right? So from where did they get this knowledge? Because of the abhyasa that they have already done in their previous lives. That is why they to share that kind of knowledge because of that. So such a kind of jignasuhu will surpass this Shabda Brahma. Okay?
Kimu is why not, is it? Artham?
Yes. Yes. Anantaram, Surya Bhagini.
प्रयत्नाभ्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्धिकिल्बिषः
अनेक जन्म संसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिं प्रयत्नात् प्रयत्नं नपुंसकलिङ्गं కదా प्रयत्नं नपुंसकलिङ्गं पंचमी विभक्ति ఏకవచనం యతమానః
पुल्लिंग सारी
పుల్లింగ
पुल्लिंग पंचमी विभक्ति एकवचन
పుల్లింగ పంచమీ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం యతమానః యతమానః ప్రథమ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం
शानजन्त
శానజంతు తు అవ్యయం యోగి యోగిన్ శబ్దం ప్రథమ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం సంశుద్ధ కిల్బిషః ప్రథమ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధः సంసిద్ధः ప్రథమ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం ప్రథమ పురుష పుల్లింగం తతః తతః అవ్యయం యాతి
యాధాతు లట్లకార
లట్లకార ప్రథమ విభక్తి
पुरुष
ప్రథమ పురుష ఏకవచనం పరాం పరహ అవుతుంది ఇది
పరాం స్త్రీలింగ శబ్దం
పరహ ద్వివచనం ప్రథమ
ద్వితీయ విభక్తి
ద్వితీయ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం గతిం గతి ఇకారాంత
పరాం గతిం పరాం ఇస్ విశేషణ టు గతి గతిం both are స్త్రీలింగ one is ఆకారాంత one is ఇకారాంత
పదార్థः సంశుద్ధ కిల్బిషः వినష్ట పాపः ప్రయత్నాత్ అధికం యతమానः ప్రవర్తమానः యోగి తు యుక్తః తు అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధः నానా జన్మ నానా జన్మ సుపరిశుద్ధः
నానా జన్మసు పరిశుద్ధ
సుపరిశుద్ధः సుపరిశుద్ధः కదా ఇది
పరిశుద్ధः నానా జన్మసు
నానా జన్మసు పరిశుద్ధः
జన్మసు మెనీ లైవ్స్
నానా జన్మసు పరిశుద్ధः తతః తస్మాత్ అనంతరం పరాం ప్రకృష్టం గతిం స్థానం యాతి గచ్చతి అన్వయః సంశుద్ధ కిల్బిషः ప్రయత్నాత్ యతమానः యోగి తు అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధः తతః పరాం గతిం యాతి తాత్పర్యం పూర్వోక్త ప్రకారేణ యత్నేన యోగే పునః పునః ప్రవర్తమానస్య యోగినః సర్వాణి అపి పాపాని వినశ్యంతి వినష్ట పాపః సహ బహుషు జన్మస్సు బుద్ధో భూత్వా ముక్తిరూపం పరమాం గతిం ప్రాప్నోతి ప్రశ్నాః యోగి తతః కిం యాతి యోగి తతః
పరాం గతిం యాతి
పరాం గతిం యాతి యోగి కీదృశః సన్ పరాం గతిం యాతి యోగి అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధం పరాం గతిం యాతి
అనేక జన్మ సన్
పరాం గతిం యాతి ప్రయత్నాత్ యతమానః యోగి కీదృశో భవతి ప్రయత్నాత్ యతమానః యోగి సంసిద్ధ కిల్బిషః భవతి సంసిద్ధ కిల్బిషः కః భవతి సంసిద్ధ కిల్బిషः యోగి భవతి అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధः యోగి కీదృశీం గతిం యాతి అనేక జన్మ సంసిద్ధः యోగి పరాం గతిం యాతి పరాగతిః కా పరాగతిః యుక్తిః వ్యాకరణం सन्धिः प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु प्रयत्नात् प्लस् यतमानः चस्तौसन्धिः प्रयत्नाद्यतमानः प्लस् तु विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धस्ततो याति अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः प्लस् ततः विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धस्तः प्लस् याति विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेफः उकारः गुणः समासः संसिद्धकिल्बिषः संसिद्धं किल्बिषं यस्य सः बहुव्रीहिः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः अनेकं जन्म कर्मधारयः अनेकजन्मनि संसिद्धः सप्तमी तत्पुरुषः रुदन्तः यतमानः यत् प्लस् लट् शानच् कर्तरि क्षम्यतां महोदय अत्र चतुर्थः प्रश्ने संसिद्धः वा संशुद्धः
संशुद्धः भगिनी संसिद्धः అని చదివారు
अत्र प्रिंट एव अस्ति
संशुद्धकिल्बिषः
संशुद्धः किल्बिषः कः भवति संशुद्धकिल्बिषः खलु संशुद्धकिल्बिषः योगी भवति अत्र संसिद्धकिल्बिषः अस्ति संसिद्धकिल्बिषः that's why I asked samshuddha ya samsiddha
samshuddha the fourth question right you are asking
yes ma'am
samshuddha only
okay thank you
not fourth Mohoday third question
संसिद्धकिल्बिषः कः भवति that is there in the fourth
question
प्रयत्नात् यतमानः योगी कीदृशो भवति संशुद्धकिल्बिषः
no fourth question itself samsiddha asti
that the fourth question itself not the answer
print mistake samshuddha
okay
so atra kriyapadam kim
yati kriyapadam
yati so kam yati param gatim yati but before that what happens so samshuddhakilbishah अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः योगी प्रयत्नात् यतमानः भवति okay so अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः संशुद्धकिल्बिषः योगी so this yogi is what kind that this yogi will become samshuddhakilbishah and अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः यतमानः भवति yatamanah bhavati so will be trying and if this yogi will become because of this yogi practice okay so anybody say for example so here what is he saying in the next shloka he will be Krishna will be telling tasmat yogi bhava arjuna why is Krishna asking Arjuna to become a yogi because a yogi if we practice yoga abhyasam samshuddha kilbishah we will become aneka janma samsiddha also that person will become and with the prayatna all this will happen with the prayatna so yatamanah with the prayatna he will become yatamanah means he who is practicing that continuous practicing is there for years and even lives if needed okay so here what will become of a yogi so with this yoga abhyasa what will one attain is being explained in this shloka and it is not easy and we can apply this to our daily lives also becoming a yogi is at a higher level but even before we go to that phase whatever we are trying to do right now we can apply that right here this prayatna here the importance is given to the prayatna so we should never stop doing the prayatna we might face many obstacles we are always taught from the childhood the example of this ant climbing a wall right so it is climbing the wall it falls or the spider ant or spider and it keeps falling it again climbs it again falls so after so many times it will not give up and it will finally go where it wants to go There is also a story about a king who sees this spider. He will go back to the war. While he's almost being defeated, he will run away from the war and he will hide in a cave. That is where he will see this spider, which is constantly falling down, but again climbing. Even after 10, 20 times, it will not stop trying again. So looking at that, he will realize a small spider is trying until it succeeded. Why should I be afraid? And so he will go back and win the war. I forgot the name of the king, but there is a story about that prayatna. So that is a story that we studied when we were little kids. So from in all the stories that we have, all these things are embedded, but because at that age we will not understand about yogi and the yoga abhyasa and all, it is told in simple ways, but the meaning or the intention behind these stories is to inculcate that thinking in us, that abhyasa is needed in whatever we do, not only to attain moksha, that comes much later, but before that, to surpass each of these steps, to climb each of these steps also, we need to have the same kind of prayatna. So whatever we do, we need to have that kind of prayatna. And only with that kind of prayatna and patience. Prayatna is also not enough. That patience also should be there. Because many times we will face obstacles. The minute we face obstacles, many people will give up. So we should not give up. We should expect obstacle will be there. That should not disappoint us to the point where we leave it. Obstacles will be there. We should expect that. And only then we should move forward. Then it will be easy for us to anticipate what are the obstacles we come across and how to work through them. So that also is our responsibility only. In our this 4-level course, there are so many subhashitas about that. Only a what do you call such a person? Yuktaha, or a wise person. Only that kind of person, before starting any work, any kind of work, he will simply not start. He will look into what that work, to accomplish that work, what is needed. Whether it be a small work or a big task, he will first assess what are the things that are needed and what is the best way to get that job done. He will consult with the friends and family, but he will not blindly follow what they say. He will consult, though, the elders of the family and the wise people in the family. He will consult, and then he will, and people who already have experience in that field, he will consult, and he will come to an understanding of what is needed to get such a job done, what are the common obstacles that we face, and do we have the means to overcome such obstacles. And that kind of preparation he will make, and then if he still thinks he can do it, then he will start. And then once he starts, he already knows what to expect, so he is prepared. If he thinks during this consultation time, if he thinks that it is not for him, then he will not start it. But a murkha, what will he do? The minute he learns of something, he just hears something and he'll jump into it. And he will start, but he is not prepared. See, it is not his, not that only he is not able to do that work. Anybody who does not prepare for it or find the ins and outs of something will not be able to do it. So we have to take the time. So when you see people jumping into things without much planning, and then they quit also like that only, because they are not prepared for it. Nobody can do it without preparing. So that is the difference between a person who succeeds in doing something and a person who is unable to succeed in doing something. That preparation and that thought and planning, all these things must be there, even for as small as cooking for 4 people who are coming for some meal in our house. Even for that we need a little bit of planning and preparation, right? Without anything also sometimes we will be able to do, but with preparation it will be even better. So like this, for anything, that kind of preparation and planning is needed, and we need to apply it in whatever we do. We need not think, cooking is not a great deal, so we don't have to plan for it or, do. if we plan, that also can be done very efficiently with a lot of focus and with much simple, in a simpler way. And while we are doing, we also will be calm because we are already prepared for it. Otherwise, we will, if we are doing something in unplanned way, that focus will not be there. Mistakes are, prone to happen. And, the person who is doing also will be restless, and the final product also will not be as good. And whenever a person does something in a calm way, that final product also will come out in a very good thing. And especially in the preparation of the food, it is good for the person who is cooking to be in a calm state of mind. Otherwise, that whoever eats that food will also be disturbed. Whatever stress this person who is cooking undergoes, that will be passed on. So these are all things, only when you are very sensitive to such things we will notice. Otherwise, many times we may not be able to notice, but very slowly that will affect. So in a long period of time, if that happens, then because everything matters, the environment, the sounds that we listen to, the sight that we see, everything, the smells that we inhale, everything is affecting the state of mind and body. So even such things also matter. So in everything that we do, if we do this planning, abhyasa and patience and everything, we will be able to achieve the goal in a much better way. And it will be more productive, whatever work that we are doing. So that is the Laukika application of this shloka. All goals, any goal, we need to apply. Even as simple as just taking a walk also. Even for that also we can apply. Or trying to take a walk every day. Many times if we don't plan, some days we go, some days we don't go. Why? Because it is not planned. But if we plan our whole day, then we will be able to do at least more number of times. Some unexpected things happen usually for people who, because we are living in a society, some surprises will always be there. But at least we are, the number of hurdles we can cut short. So here in this Adhyatmika Abhyasam, also we can apply this. Of course, it is said for that only, but it starts with our daily practices, and then we can take it to, then we are more prepared when it comes to the Adhyatmika Abhyasa. This also we studied, I think, several shlokas back about how the bhumikas are there. So many bhumikas are there. 4 or 5 bhumikas, no, 7 bhumikas are there. And how in each of this level, these are just different phases. And in each phase, what needs to be tackled, or what needs to be understood and overcome. Like the nitya viveka jnanam, like sat and asat. What is sat? What is asat? That vivekam should be there. And to be able to understand that, vairagyam also we should practice. And after practicing vairagyam, we have to overcome the manas chanchalatvam. All this we have studied earlier, right? The titiksha, uparati, and all these we have studied. So those are needed. Again, these are divided into these steps so that it will be easy for us to follow and understand what path to take. Because many people may not have the understanding of how to attain this, this yoga abhyasam. So like how we teach to young children step by step when we are introducing them to a concept, like that here all these are explained in a very detailed way. So we have to follow that. Of course, here it is not given right here in these shlokas, but if you look at the Yoga Shastram also, there also these steps will be explained in a much detailed way. So, and another phase is where we listen to the gurus, the Vedanta Vakyams, or the gurus, and then we have to do the Chintana, where we try to understand what is being explained there, not at the surface level, but how we can put it into practice. And then we have to do that Mananam, constant Mananam should be there. Otherwise, it will again slip. Our mind is always wandering, always running around. So to bring it back into that control, we have to do this constant mananam. So I decided that I will walk for 15 minutes every day. So did I walk today? Was I distracted? Okay, so I was distracted. So let me, come back and continue. We go for a walk, we meet somebody, we talk to them for a while, and then time is up, we come back. So what happened to that abhyasam? Why are we distracted? So was it really that kind of conversation where we have to give up the walking? So such mananam should be there. So what is my purpose? What am I planning to do? And what did I do? That kind of mananam is there. If it is there in everything that we do, then automatically we will try to not do the things that really do not help us in our abhyasa, and try to put more focus and shraddha on the things that actually help us with the abhyasa. Everything applies like how we tell our children. They sit in front of books, they are distracted when somebody talks or when somebody switch on the TV and all. What do we keep telling them? We keep telling them, come back to your book, you focus on your book, right? We have to apply the same thing on ourselves. Whatever our abhyasa is, we have to try and come back to our abhyasa. By prayatna purvakena, we have to shut down all the other distraction. So that should be there. And then that is even more important for us who are doing this grihastha ashrama. Why? Because we have so many distractions around us. Okay, we are not like the munis who can go off into a forest and sit there where there is no distraction, right? Of course, for people who um, want to be distracted, everything can be a distraction. But at least for people who are trying sincerely, there are less number of distractions there. But here, who are leading a family life, we have even more distractions. So we have to do this mananam even more, because we have duties and responsibilities which we cannot simply ignore. We have to do that, and while doing that also we have to do our own mananam. So as our responsibility, we do all our daily activities. But while doing those daily activities, in our mind, we can constantly do our own sadhana. We need not, we need not be distracted with what is going on there. Many things will be happening. We need not engage in the things that are not good for our mind. We can engage in our own sadhana in the mind and continue doing our duties. I think that way, whatever we do also, the outcome will be good. Like I said earlier, cooking a meal, while we are doing our abhyasa in our mind and cook, that outcome will be really definitely very good. And whoever eats that pakam will also have, much better health. In the long term, I don't mean it will happen overnight, but in the long term, that will definitely have a very good thing. So that is, those are the things that we have to apply in the Laukika way. This particular about the prayatna. About the prayatna here, it is emphasized in this shloka about the importance of the prayatna, because nothing happens without prayatna. No matter how much shraddha and all you have, that prayatnam also should be there. That also we see. People will say, I'm so much interested in this. But that prayatna lopam will be there. So because of that, no matter how much interested they are not able to accomplish. Why? Because that prayatna, they are unable to put in the time or the effort, whatever is needed to achieve that. So here, that prayatna is explained. So this samshuddha kilvishaha. So vinashta papaha. So with this abhyasa, all his papams also will be washed away because of this abhyasa. And by the continuous practice, aneka janma samsiddhaha. So nana janmasu parishuddhaha. So he will come out in a clean way because of this yoga abhyasam. Whatever whatever little doshas are there in our kriyas, those also will be washed off because of this prayatna. Sincere, with the shraddha and bhakti, if we put in this abhyasa, then whatever little doshas we might have done in the past, knowingly or unknowingly, can also be overcome, and we can go into the path of this yoga marga in much easier way. That is what is being told here. So purvokta prakarena yatnena yoge punaha punaha pravartamanasya yoginaha sarvani api papani vinashyanti vinashta papaha saha. So because of this punaha punaha prayatnaha, vinashta papaha, he will become. And saha bahushu janmasu shuddhaha bhutva mukti rupam paramam gatim prapnoti. So the first step is to wash away the sins. And once the sins are washed away, if we still continue doing the abhyasa, then we will build enough shraddha or whatever is needed to attain that moksha. Because that manas should become complete sthiram. That also we have studied a few shlokas behind, right? Like how a deepa will be there without, where there is no extra vayuhu, only as much as is needed to keep the deepa alive. If there is no extra vayu, like how nischalam it will be, then we will be able to practice that part. We have to practice keeping the manas sthiram. So now we have overcome all the others. We have washed away our papas. We have completed our duties and surpassed the karma marga. We entered the yoga marga. In this yoga marga also there are a few steps where our duty is only to focus on keeping the manas sthiram. It still keeps going on. Like you are doing your dhyanam. Somebody comes. Oh, who is it? What does he want? That also will be happening. That also is, it is not bad, but the manas is still not nischalam. So that also should happen to the point where the indriyas and the manas do not interact anymore. Means you will be looking at who came, but that happens even to us, if you remember, like the Shakuntala. She will be looking at that Muni who sage who comes into her ashramam, but she's not aware. Her senses are somewhere else. She is lost in thought about Dushyanta, right? So though she sees him, she does not see him because that there is the connection between her chakshu and the manas is separated. The chakshu is looking at the sage, but the manas is with Dushyanta. So she does not reciprocate. She looks at him, but does not realize that there is a person there, and she does not acknowledge his presence. So that is why he gets angry, right? So similarly for us also that will happen. If you notice, sometimes we will be lost in thought, and when somebody is asking us, it does not, we don't even hear. We'll even say, you didn't say anything like that. I never heard you say that. That also happens. Why? Not because the other person did not say it, but because we are lost in some other thought, that we are unable to hear that person, unable to see something, right? That kind of focus should be there, but right now we are engrossed in something else. Maybe we are thinking about something else, our worrying about something else, some materialistic thing. But it should not be, the object should not be some laukika thing. It should be the Paramatma Tattvam. The focus should be on the Paramatma Tattvam. The manas should be completely focused on the Paramatma Tattvam. Then, even though your eyes are seeing somebody coming in, going out, somebody talking something, nothing will matter. Nothing will, your manas will not focus on that. It is focused only on the Paramatma Tattvam. So things will be happening. Like how even today, like every day, we keep hearing some sounds. Early morning, that milkman will come, that sound will come. Those sounds will be happening, but our mind is not responding every single time for all those sounds, right? It became immune to those sounds. Like that, we have to do the abhyasa in such a way that the mind becomes immune to anything that happens outside. So the indriyas, though they are seeing, they are not sending back any messages to the mind. The mind and the indriyas are completely separated. And what is the mind doing? It is not simply sitting or thinking about some laukika thing. It has to think about the Paramatma. That abhyasa we have to do. We have to bring the mind to think only about the abhyasa. That is called yoga abhyasa. That is called yoga abhyasa. And such a yogi is greater than everybody else. That is what is being told in the next shloka. He is greater than the tapasvi. He is greater than the jnani. He is greater than the karmi. Means he who does the satkarmas. He is greater than that also. That is the reason why Arjuna yogi bhava. Okay? You become a yogi. You are already on that path. You focus more and become a yogi. Because yogi is greater than all these other people. A tapasvi. Tapasvi is supposed to be a very great person. But a yogi is better than a tapasvi. Similarly, a person who does the satkarma charana is very good. But a yogi is better than him. So similarly, the yogi is the ultimate state of mind that we have to reach. These are all the first steps. First, we have to do satkarma charana. Then we have to do tapas or any kind of dhyanam. And then again, tapas also is of various kinds. We studied that in the previous adhyaya. There are so many kinds of tapas. Those are all also good. But the next step, if we want to proceed, then becoming a yogi. And then yoga abhyasa. Yoga abhyasa is to have this mind completely nischalam and focusing only on the Paramatma. And that because Manas always uses these indriyas, right, to run into all these laukika vishayas. So that connection, if we cut, then the Manas will be within us, and simply not letting it be simply idle, we have to put it on the Paramatma Tattva. So that comes in the next shloka. So Alivelu Bhagini.
भगिनि तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन तपस्विभ्यः अधिकः योगी ज्ञानिभ्यः अपि मतः अधिकः कर्मिभ्यः च अधिकः योगी तस्मात् योगी भव अर्जुन तपस्विभ्यः पंचमी बहुवचनं तपस्वी इकारान्त पुंलिङ्गं
तपस्विन् नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग
तपस्विन् नकारान्त पुंलिङ्गम् ओके पंचमी बहुवचनं अधिकः अधिकः अकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं योगी योगिन् नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं ज्ञानिभ्यः ज्ञानिभ्यः नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग पंचमी बहुवचनम् अपि अव्ययं मतः मतः अकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनम् अधिकः अकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं कर्मिभ्यः कर्मिन् 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 नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा बहुवचनं सारी पंचमी बहुवचनं च अव्ययम् अधिकः अकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं योगी योगिन् नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं तस्मात् तत्शब्दस्य पंचमी बहु एकवचनं योगी योगी
अव्ययमस्ति किल महोदय तस्मात् अव्ययं किल तस्मात्
here because tasmat is there in tad shabda also, but here we can take it as an avyaya because it is acting as no, we can take it panchami also because it is hetu tasmat because of that reason. So we can take it as panchami
also.
पंचमी एकवचनं योगी योगिन् नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं भव भूधातुः मध्यम लट्लकार मध्यमपुरुष एकवचनं अर्जुन संबोधना पुंलिङ्ग सारी भगिनी
भव is lot lakara
लोट् लकारं मध्यमपुरुष एकवचनं
भगिनी कर्मभ्यः एकवारम् अन्तं वदतु
कर्मिन्
कर्मिभ्यः नकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग पंचमी बहुवचनं
थैंक यू वेरी मच
पदार्थः योगी योगी तपस्विभ्यः तापसेभ्यः अधिकः प्रकृष्टः मतः इष्टः ज्ञानिभ्यः अपि पंडितेभ्यः अपि अधिकः प्रकृष्टः कर्मिभ्यः च अपि अधिकः प्रकृष्टः अर्जुन हे अर्जुन तस्मात् हेतोः योगी ध्यानयोगी भव जायस्व अन्वयः योगी तपस्विभ्यः अधिकः मतः ज्ञानिभ्यः अपि अधिकः कर्मिभ्यः च अधिकः अर्जुन तस्मात् योगी भव तात्पर्यम् चान्द्रायणादिरूपं तपः आचरद्भ्यः अपि योगी अधिकः शास्त्रे पंडितेभ्यः अपि योगी अधिकः अग्निहोत्रादिकर्म आचरद्भ्यः अपि योगी अधिकः अतः ए अर्जुन त्वं योगी भव प्रश्नाः तपस्विभ्यः अधिकः कः तपस्विभ्यः अधिकः योगी ज्ञानिभ्येऽपि अधिकः कः ज्ञानिभ्येऽपि अधिकः मतः कर्मिभ्येऽपि अधिकः कः कर्मिभ्येऽपि अधिकः योगी योगी केभ्यः अधिकः योगी तपस्विभ्यः कर्मिभ्यः ज्ञानिभ्येऽपि अधिकः अपि अधिकः योगी सर्वेभ्योऽपि अधिक इति वदन् कृष्णः अर्जुनाय किम् आशंसति योगी सर्वेभ्योऽपि अधिक इति वदन् कृष्णः अर्जुनाय त्वं योगी भव इति आशंसति व्याकरणं सन्धिः तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी तपस्विभ्यः प्लस अधिकः विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेपः उकारः गुणः पूर्वरूपं च तपस्विभ्योऽधिकः प्लस योगी विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेपः उकारः गुणः ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि ज्ञानिभ्यः प्लस अपि विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेपः उकारः गुणः पूर्वरूपं च मतोऽधिकः मतः प्लस अधिकः विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेपः उकारः गुणः पूर्वरूपं च कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिकः प्लस योगी विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेपः उकारः गुणः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिकः कर्मिभ्यः प्लश्च कर्मिभ्यश्च विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः चुत्वं कर्मिभ्यश्च प्लस अधिकः सवर्णदीर्घसन्धिः तस्माद् योगी तस्मात् प्लस योगी जस्वसन्धिः भवार्जुन भव प्लस अर्जुन सवर्णदीर्घसन्धिः तद्धितान्तः तपस्विभ्यः तपस् प्लस विनीन विनी मधुमर्थे तेभ्यः तपः येषां येषु वा अस्ति ज्ञानिभ्यः ज्ञानि प्लस ज्ञानिभ्यः विनीन
ज्ञान प्लस इनि
इनि ज्ञान प्लस इनि मधुवर्धे ज्ञानिन् कदा ज्ञानिनः ज्ञानं येषां येषु वा अस्ति न अधिकः अधिकः
अहमपि न जानामि
खन् प्रत्यय
यः दत्तमस्ति
खन्
अधिकः खन् प्रत्यय
किं प्रत्ययं किं महोदय
खन् खन्
अहमपि न जानामि
खल् प्रत्ययः
खन्
खल्
खल्ला
खल् प्रत्ययः
अधिकः खल् प्रत्यय कर्मिभ्यः कर्मन् प्लस इनि मधुवर्थे तेभ्यः कर्म येषामेषु वा अस्ति धन्यवादः भगिनी
धन्यवादः भगिनी सो अत्र क्रियापदं किम्
क्रियापदं भव
भव मतः अपि अस्ति
ताप्रत्ययं मतः मन् धातोः
योगी ज्ञानिभ्यः अपि अधिकः मतः is thought to be yogi is thought to be greater than the jnani. Similarly, in other places also we can take matah as adhyahritam. So here yogi tapasvibhyah adhikah matah. In the first one it is when jnanibhyah api adhikah matah you can take. Karmibhyah cha adhikah
matah.
So tasmat yogi bhava. So there we can take tvam adhyahritam, tvam yogi bhava. And here tasmat is hence because of that reason. Because yogi is said to be greater than, jnani, greater than tapasvi and greater than karmi. For that reason you become yogi. So tasmat here is hetu. A hetu can be either in Panchami Vibhakti or Tritiya Vibhakti. So taking it as Panchami Vibhakti will be fine. అనంతరం
కిమర్థం అని కూడా తీసుకోవచ్చా మేడం?
ఆ?
కిమర్థం
కిమర్థం ఎక్కడ?
కిమర్థం యోగి భవ, తస్మాత్ యోగి భవ. తస్మాత్
మీరు రాసేటప్పుడా?
తప
నాట్ ప్రయోజన. సో కిమర్థం కంటే కూడా ఫర్ రైటింగ్ ది అన్వయ
హేతు.
తస్మాత్ అతః కుతః యూ కెన్ టేక్ వై
కుతః.
ఫర్ దట్ రీజన్. సో
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Because tasmat also, in the place of tasmat, tataha also we can use. Kutaha yogi bhava tataha. In place of tataha, tasmat. Tasmat yogi bhava. Like that. For anvaya purposes, you can take it like that.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Anantaram Ravishankar Mahodaya.
महोदय पठामि। योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनानन्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः। योगिनाम् अपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यः मां सः मे युक्ततमः मतः। योगिनां योगिन् शब्दः षष्ठी विभक्ति बहुवचन। अपि अव्ययः। सर्वेषां सर्वनाम शब्द षष्ठी विभक्ति बहुवचन। मद्गतेन मद्गत अकारांत पुल्लिंग शब्दः तृतीया विभक्ति एकवचन। अंतरात्मना अंतरात्मना अंतरात्मन् नकारान्तः पुल्लिंगः तृतीया विभक्ति एकवचन। श्रद्धावान् श्रद्धावत् तकारांत शब्दः प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचनम। भजते भज धातु लट् लकार प्रथमा पुरुष एकवचन। यः यः यद् शब्दः प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचन पुल्लिंगः। मां अस्मत् शब्दः द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचन। सः तद् सर्वनाम शब्दः प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचन। मे अहम् अहं सर्वनाम शब्दः षष्ठी विभक्ति एकवचन। युक्ततमः अस्मत् शब्दः अस्मत् शब्दः क्षम्यताम् अस्मत् शब्दः षष्ठी विभक्ति एकवचनं। युक्ततमः युक्ततमः युक्ततम युक्ततमः प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचन पुंलिंगः। मतः मता प्रथमा विभक्ति एकवचनम्। पदार्थः सर्वेषां सकलानां योगिनाम् अपि युक्तानाम् अपि यः यः पुरुषः श्रद्धावान् श्रद्धालुः सन् मद्गतेन मयि स्थितेन अंतरात्मना चित्तेन मां मां भजते सेवते सः सः पुरुषः मे मम युक्ततमः आप्ततमः मतः अभिमतः। अन्वयः सर्वेषां योगिनाम् अपि यः श्रद्धावान् मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना मां भजते सः मे युक्ततमः मतः। तात्पर्यं योगिषु अपि यः वासुदेवे मयि श्रद्धधानः सन् मामेव समाहितान्तः करणः सन् भजते सः मम अतिशयेन आप्तः भवति। प्रश्नः कृष्णस्य कः युक्ततमः यः श्रद्धावान् तं भजते च केषां श्रद्धावान् भजमानः कृष्णस्य युक्ततमः सर्वेषामपि योगिनां श्रद्धावान् कीदृशेन अंतरात्मना कृष्णस्य युक्ततमो भवति तद्गतेन व्याकरणं संधिः मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना मद्गतेन अधिकम् अंतरात्मना सवर्णदीर्घसन्धिः यो मां यः मां विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेफः उकारः गुणः सः मे विसर्गसन्धिः विसर्गस्य लोपः युक्ततमो मतः युक्ततमः मतः विसर्गसन्धिः सकारः रेफः उकारः गुणः समासः मद्गतेन मां गतः तेन द्वितीय तत्पुरुषः कृदन्तः गतः गमर्ल धातुः क्त कर्तर्यर्थे मतः मन् अधिकं ता कर्मण्यर्थे तद्धितान्तः युक्ततमः युक्त अधिकं तमप् अतिशयार्थे श्रद्धावान् श्रद्धा अधिकं मतुप् श्रद्धा अस्य अस्मिन् वा अस्ति इदमपि पठामि वा ओम तत्सदिति
पठतु पठतु
ओम तत्सदिति श्रीभगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ध्यानयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः हरि ओम्
सो अत्र क्रियापदं किं
भजते
द्वितीयं मतः
द्वितीयं मतः
स्वीकर्तुं शक्यते सो भजते कः भजते
योगिनां
श्रद्धावान् श्रद्धावान् भजते कीदृशः श्रद्धावान् मद्गतेनान्तरमना कीदृशः अन्ते कीदृशः वक्तुं न शक्यते कः श्रद्धावान् यः श्रद्धावान् भजते कं भजते मां भजते केन भजते मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना सो श्रद्धावान् केषु श्रद्धावान्
श्रद्धावान्
सर्वेषां योगिनां
श्रद्धावान्
so श्रद्धावान् among all the yogis
yes
here.
Yes
So yogi itself, how great a yogi is, has been explained in the previous shloka.
Yes.
Yogis also, again, the most shraddhavan.
Who is already, who is always his mindset in me.
So yaha sarvesham yoginam api shraddhavan madgatena antaratmana mam bhajate saha me सः युक्ततमः इति मे मतः
सः युक्ततमः इति मे मतः आम्
so here what is सः कर्मपदं वा कर्तृपदं वा
सः मे युक्ततमः सः इस् कर्मपदं भवति किल
कर्मपदं and युक्ततमः सः युक्ततमः so yuktatamaa will be karma samanadhikaranam or vidhe visheshana it is actually but for karma they still call it karma samanadhikaranam only for the kartrupadam they call it vidheya visheshana the same vidheya visheshana when it is representing a karma it is called karma samanadhikaranam me iti me mata so this is what I think that among all the yogis also the Shraddhavan who indulges only in me.
Yes.
Is said to be the Yuktatamaha. So that is in this last shloka. So here also the bhakti and Shraddha and the Vishwasam. So yogi needs to have these additional qualities with
Yes,
complete vishwasam, with complete shraddha, with complete bhakti. He who shows that kind of shraddha and bhakti towards the Paramatma, that kind of abhyasam, that kind of yoga abhyasam is desired to attain the moksha. To attain moksha, that kind of abhyasa, yoga abhyasa. So even within yoga abhyasa, he who attains moksha will need to have these qualities.
He has to excel in all these things. Yes.
So here in this chapter, what are the things that that were focused on? So firstly, the karma phala sannyasam. The karma phala sannyasam is needed, right?
Yes.
That is what is explained in the first few shlokas. How the karma sannyasam has to be practiced. Karma phala sannyasam, not karma sannyasam. Karma phala sannyasam should be practiced. And then one should understand when one can start yoga abhyasam. When he has surpassed the karma marga. That also we should know. People sometimes, what do they think? They simply abandon their families and go and say that, oh, we have took sannyasam, so we are no longer living with our family. Some people do that only to escape the challenges that they face in the samsara life.
Yes.
That is not what it is. That is not what yoga abhyasam is. Yoga abhyasam is we have to enter into the yoga abhyasam only after we have completed our duties. And for that, whatever we need to do, we still have to follow the karma marga. We have shared some stories where there is this king who marries a woman who is also in that abhyasa, right? Adhyatmika abhyasa. But because he is tied up with his kingly duties, he is unable to do as much practice as his wife. Whereas she has time, so she was practicing and she will be moving forward in that adhyatmika abhyasa. So he will feel bad. Are I'm not able to do as much practice as my wife because I'm tied up with all these kingly duties. So what he will do, he will one day simply leave the kingdom and go into the forest and start doing his abhyasa. So then the queen comes to know of it, but she should tell it in a way where he is not offended, because she is the woman and she is the wife, and so the king will be hurt if that woman comes and tells something normally. So she will come in a disguise as a yogi, and then she will remind his duties, and then you will not be able to attain the yoga marga, even though you simply come here just leaving your duties. Even if you do abhyasa, you will not be able to go into the next phase because you still have so many things which you have not completed. So he will realize and then come back, and then so many times such kind of urge comes to all of us, especially when we know a little bit of this abhyasa. We are very much tempted and feel that all these responsibilities that we have are stopping us from moving forward. That is how we sometimes might feel. But we have to understand that we have to complete this karma marga with a good and willing mind. We should not risk our responsibilities, no matter how hard it is. But what we can do while doing these responsibilities, how to train ourselves, keep our mind on the adhyatmika abhyasa. That if we are able to achieve, then all these duties will not feel difficult or as though they are hindering us. That is the reason why we are also told to look at Paramatma everything and to offer everything to Paramatma. So then whatever we are doing, if we see Paramatma in that work, then we don't feel that, that work is hindering us from doing our abhyasa. In that only we are doing our abhyasa. So whatever we do, everything we are offering to Paramatma. So then our abhyasa, our duties itself will turn into abhyasa. So we are progressing. So we will understand that nothing is stopping us. These are not hindrances. Our responsibilities are not hindrances. These are all also our means to do our adhyatmika abhyasa. So we are offering all this to Paramatma. So that way we have to change our mind thinking, so that we will not feel this as a burden or as hindrances to our abhyasa. So that we are also told. So we should know when we have completed the karma marga and when to enter the jnana marga. That is what is told in the third shloka. And then how to use our own manas, atmana atmanyeva. So how to use our manas to control or do the abhyasa of the atma. Okay, there one atma is used in the sense of manas. The other atma is used in the sense of the atma itself. Okay, in those shlokas we have to be careful because the word atma is used in two different senses. And then we also have to understand. So how to use this manas to progress in this path, to use it as a mitra rather than as a ripu. When does manas become ripu and when does manas become mitra? That also we have studied in this chapter. So if we use it, what examples have we? Say for example, if we use our manas to get angry at somebody and to do something, acting upon that, then our own manas, right? It is all our own manas telling us. When unable to control our manas, it will act. If we are unable to control it, it will act as our ripu, as our enemy. So we do something stupid and then repent later on. So that is when the manas will become our enemy. Once we control it, even though we get anger or jealous or such kind of feelings, we should analyze. We should not act upon it immediately. We should take a few steps backward, think why we are feeling that anger or disappointment or jealousy, and we should understand that it is not right. Once we sit and think for 2 minutes why we got that emotion, we will definitely be able to understand the reason and we can work on it. And once we work on it, then Atma, that Manas will work with us. So it will become our Mitra. So when we see somebody achieving something, many people, they get jealous when they see people around them, their friends or family, achieving something which they were not able to achieve. The first feeling that comes is that jealousy will be there. But are we acting upon it? See, then we have to sit. That person has really worked hard. I have not worked as hard. And who is he? It is my own brother or sister or friend. So if I also take part in that happiness, that will be good for me also. And I also should do sadhana. Sometimes some people, maybe they might not have done as much abhyasa, but they received something good. Do you think it simply happened to them? Maybe not this janmas, maybe it is their previous janma abhyasa that rewarded them in this life, right? That also we have to understand. Many people feel, oh, he did not work at all, but he got so much, he got lucky. That luck is nothing other than the abhyasa that we have done in the previous janmas. That if we understand again, there is no reason to feel jealous about somebody. It is his abhyasa, and my abhyasa will come in the right time. Whenever it is time, it will come. Because everybody's journey is different. They will receive the phalitam of their punya karmas and papa karmas when the time comes. So that understanding, if we have, there is no reason for us to be jealous about anybody or angry about anything. So that is how we can control the manas. And once we control it, it will become our friend. So we can use it to progress further in the Adhyatmika Chintana. And then in the next few shlokas, it will, what is explained is about Samadarshanam. How to look at everything equally, how to look for Paramatma in every being. In every being, in every non-living thing, living thing, in everything, how to look, to remind ourselves. We know that Paramatma is everywhere, right? We know that. We have the example of Bhakta Prahlada also, that Paramatma is there in everything. Forgetting. We keep forgetting. So we have to remind ourselves constantly that Paramatma is there in everybody. if we develop that thought, if we keep doing mananam on that thought, then also we cannot get angry or jealous on anybody, because we know that inner there is Paramatma. The outside nature of that person is because of their samskaras. That is the only thing, the reason for their outside. Because the first doubt we will get is, how can a person be so cruel if Paramatma is within them? When we see all these, crimes happening, all these
Yes.
crimes that are happening, how can Paramatma be in such a person who has done such a,
Inner crime.
So
Yes.
how? It is because of their previous samskaras. That is the outside thing. They have to work on it. They also have to realize that there is Paramatma and not only this outer self. And this outer self is because of their previous samskaras. And to overcome, we have studied in today's shloka, to overcome those previous samskaras, this abhyasa. Abhyasa is the only way we can wash away the papas that we have done in the past. And abhyasa is not only outside abhyasa, with the manas, with the complete shraddha of the manas, we have to do. With the shuddha manas, we have to do. Simply doing something and thinking that will wash away our papams will not happen. We have to do with utmost shraddha and shuddha manas. Only then we can wash off the papas. So all that is explained in the shlokas from 6:9 to 6:15. And how to perform the yoga abhyasa is also explained, like selecting a place where we are away from the other people, a quiet place, and sit alone all by ourselves, and how to set up the asana, how to how to even sit comfortably, because we have to be there in that position for a while. So if we sit uncomfortably, we cannot focus on what we are planning to focus. So first our body should be comfortable. We should be able to sit at least for 20 minutes in that position without any of our body feeling the pain. So that also. See, when we are not able to sit in a particular what is that called?
Asana. Asana.
What is that asana where we put the both legs?
Padmasana.
Padma.
Padmasana.
See,
Lotus
if
first.
we are not able to sit in Padmasana, sometimes we feel bad, that we feel that we are not doing enough of something. But it is okay. It is okay to not be able to sit in Padmasana. However,
Sit in
you are able to
Sukhasana also.
comfortably, that is enough. As
Yes.
long as we are able to sit comfortably enough to be able to focus on our mind, that is what is more important.
Yes.
Not being able to sit in Padmasana and unable to focus will not do us any good. So
Yes.
being able to focus is the primary thing.
Hmm.
And then, so that is what is explained.
Hmm.
And then the other niyamas that we have to follow. Simply doing the dhyanam is not enough. We have to prepare our body for that. How do we prepare? By eating
Ahara.
ahara and nidra.
Nidra.
So completely starving also will not take us forward in the yoga abhyasa, or completely overeating will not help us. Similarly, complete jagarana also does not help us, and sleeping all the time also does not help us. So that mitahara and nidra for enough time, that is explained in these shlokas, the 16th and the 17th. And then the manas, how to keep the manas nischalam like the deepa jwala, where there is no vayu. Okay, that is explained, how to keep the manas achanchalam. And then the yoga, the shabdartha of the yoga itself is explained in the next few shlokas, and how to show the patience without rushing. Okay, otherwise this also we have seen, where there is a rakshasa who will be changing forms, and so he will think that what is that story that we discussed? So he doesn't have the patience to wait, right? So he wants that something like that. So this rakshasa wants to enjoy the sweetness of the nectar in the flowers, or different tastes. Yeah, basically he wants to enjoy, so he will become a bird or something, and then he eats, but then he wants, because a bird has a small, very small stomach, eating very less, he will feel full immediately. So he's not able to taste as many, or a honeybee, I think. He will not be able to taste as many varieties as possible because he's not able to eat enough. Initially, as a Rakshasa, he was able to eat so much, but then he wants a variety. So for variety, he thinks that if he is born as a small makshika, he can go and madhumakshika, he can go and taste so many things. So like this, he will try several things, and then he will come to an understanding that, okay, if I am able to change so many forms, who is it that is within me when I was a Rakshasa, and who is it that is within me when I was a madhumakshika? So then he understands that the Atma is the same, only the Sharira is changing. So then he will have a kind of reformation, and he will start doing, he will think he should not kill people anymore for his meal. But then again, he is a Rakshasa to start with, so his meals include people. So then he will think, okay, I will eat people who do adharma. So how to categorize people who do adharma? Oh, these are the people who do not have the tattva jnanam. So like that, he will do several things, okay? Because he was trying to rush into attaining moksha. So he does not understand that it takes so much of patience. So he will fail there. The story goes on, but the thing is, what we have to understand from that is, we cannot rush into attaining this yoga, and we have to take our own thing. Otherwise, this Rakshasa pravritti can also develop because of that impatience that we show. And then again, the Samadarshana is explained. Why it is again explained is, in the first time it was referred to, what we were taught is to look at Paramatma in everything, and that is how we can look at everything with Samadarshana. But now in this context, how Samadarshana is explained is, what we want for ourselves, we should want for others also. Okay, what we do not want for ourselves, that we should not want to give to the others also.
Yes.
So, but many times how we think, for us we think separately, for others we think separately. That kind of, when that is there, then there is no Samadarshana. So we have to practice that also. That is the reason why it is mentioned twice. And then Arjuna asks Krishna, so how is it even possible to keep manas under control? Because it is dridena, with so much of force it will be pulled off onto various things. Is it really possible to even keep it under control? So then it says, Krishna says that yes, it is very difficult, like you said, dushkaram, but with abhyasena, you can control it. So that abhyasam is needed. So prayatna, that abhyasam should be done. So then again Arjuna asks, okay, fine. You are asking that abhyasa needs to be done. What if somebody is in this phase of abhyasa, but before he achieves, if the Atma leaves the Sharira, what will become of him? Will he become Ubhaya Vibhrashtaha? So then Krishna will explain that no, nothing of that sort will happen. And we have discussed in the very beginning of this class that he, after spending so many years or even lives time in the Punya Lokaha, when the time comes, he will be born into the homes of the wealthy people and the good people, if he has the bhoga vasanas. Otherwise, he will be born into dhimatam gehe. So people like Veda Vyasa, where only for them the wealth is not important. They have the knowledge of the wealth of knowledge. Tattvajnana is there. In such people's houses, such yoga bhrashtaha will be born, so that they can continue their journey, because they are so blessed. They will be born into such people's places where they have that environment that supports their abhyasa, so they can pick it up right where they left. So in context of that also, there is a small story. Dharma Kirtihi, the king's name is. Okay, so he wants to follow the Jnana Marga. But what happens? He wants to follow the Jnana Marga, but because he's a king, he will be following some Bhoga Jivanam. And because of the sneha that he has, because many times we want to do something right, and then people around us will pull us in various directions, right? So because of that, this king, though he wants to follow the Jnana Marga, he will lead a life of bhogam because of his friends. Okay, so then he realizes, Are, I wanted to follow the Jnana Marga, but where am I now? So suddenly one day he will realize, what am I doing? So then he says, okay, to compensate for this, I will do Ekadasha Vratam. So he will start the Ekadasha Vratam. And then, but before he completes that Vratam, his Atma will leave the body. But he wanted very much, very strongly that Sankalpam is there. That he wanted to do this Ekadasha Vratam. So when he is born in the next life, even as a baby, even as a Shishu, every Ekadashi he does not take any food. Even when he is still feeding from his mother, he does not, that particular day, he does not drink anything. So the parents get worried and they take him to the doctor. Today, whole day, this tiny baby has not eaten anything, did not drink anything. So the doctor will say, no, everything is fine with him. There is nothing wrong with him. So, just wait. So it continues happening. Every Ekadashi, he does not eat anything. As a baby, as a child. And when he's old enough where he is able to speak. So then parents will ask, no, if the children say today I don't want to eat, why they will ask, no? So when they will ask why, and that by the time he is able to speak, he will say today is Ekadashi. So then the parents, the father will be very surprised and he will recognize this person, this boy as a sadhaka. Okay, he will realize that this is not an ordinary person. He is a sadhaka. Whatever he has done in the past, he's trying to pick it up from there. And I cannot give him that kind of guidance. So he will take him to a guru. And then the guru also, with his Divya Drishti, he will see that this is a king who started a Ekadashi Vratam, but is unable to complete it. So now he is trying to complete. So he will provide the necessary, whatever things are needed for him to do that abhyasa, teachings or sadhana, all those things they will provide him and he will continue with his sadhana. So because he is such a blessed person, he is born to a father who is able to realize that, and he himself will take and offer him to a guru to guide him. Teach him. So that kind of things will happen but it will not go waste. Though temporarily, because of the influence of his friends, though he was taken away from the track, once the Sankalpa is made again, he will continue. So nothing will go waste, even though intermittently there will be lapses in our Abhyasa, but still, whatever we have done, we can always pick it up from there. So that is what is told in this chapter. And after that, the shlokas that we studied today. Okay. So in today's shlokas, what did we study? What is the gist? The prayatnam. About the prayatnam, it is given. And how the Paurva Dehikam, like the short story explains that. So whatever abhyasa we had in the previous life, we will pick it up from there. And this abhyasa, and then the prayatna, the importance of prayatna, and how we can apply that even for our regular life, the Laukika Jivitam also, not only for the yoga abhyasa, we can apply it in our whatever we are doing right now, because all these are steps to the yoga abhyasa. So in these steps also we have to follow that kind of prayatna. we should not give up. Only in every phase we can apply these. Only then we will be able to reach to that level of yoga marga. And the importance of yogi, like how great a yogi is. He is greater than the tapasvi. He is greater than the jnani and the karmi. So, though all these, doing the satkarma charana is good, but becoming a yogi is even better. Doing attaining knowledge is good. The tattvajnanam, attaining it is good. But yogi is the one who actually puts it into practice, right? We are right now, what we are doing is we are trying to acquire the knowledge of tattvajnanam. This is only theoretical, but a yogi is the one who puts it into practice. So he is great in that way. So like this. So, and among the yogis also, the Shraddhavan shows that Shraddha and the complete Vishwasam and Bhakti. He is the one who can reach me ultimately. So 3 levels are there. The first level includes the tapasvis and the people who do satkarma charana and obtaining knowledge, the jnani, all these. Surpassing those is the yogi. Surpassing the yogi are the ones who show that kind of Shraddha and Bhakti and Vishwasam in Paramatma. So such kind of a person will reach Paramatma. So with that, we have completed chapter 6. Any questions?
Madam, in the last shloka, you said Sa is the Karma Pada. And karma samanadikaparanam, which is the karma samanadikaparanam? I could not.
Saha is the karma pada, I said. Yuktaha.
Yuktaha is the karma samanadikaparanam.
Yuktatamaha. Is it Yuktatamaha? Wait.
Yuktatamaha.
Sarveshinaamapi yaha shraddhavan madgatena antaratmana mam bhajate saha me yuktatamaha. Yeah, yuktatamaha will become saha yuktatamaha. So saha is the karma padam and yuktatamaha will be karma samanadhikaranam.
Oh.
It is just like the Videya Visheshana with the Kartrupadam. Here, because it is Karma Padam, we call it Karma Samanadhikarana.
Okay, thank you.
And here the sentence is in Karmani. The Mataha is the Karmani Prayoge Asti. Ataha Saha will become the Karma Padam.
Thank you.
Okay. So we shall start the 7th chapter in the next class. Okay. Alivelu Bhagini?
Bhagini. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. धन्यवाद भगिनी, नमस्कारः. सर्वेभ्यः धन्यवादः, नमस्कारः.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadah. Thank you so much.
All of you practice the recitation of these first 6 adhyayas. Okay, now that we know the meanings of the shlokas, if you keep reading, and while reading in your manas, if you try to recollect what we discussed with each shloka, then eventually as we are reading, that meanings will come to our mind, and that will be a much good experience.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Shubharatri sarvebhyah.
Shubharatri.